We must also act to protect those we love. Parents install alarms to warn if their household is threatened by smoke or carbon monoxide. We should also install protections against spiritual threats. Protections like filters on internet connections and locating access so others can see what is being viewed.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. Know thy enemy. Art of War. When you know of your enemy, you need to do your research on your enemy. You cannot be exposed as ignorant about them. They will use that against you, as they should be studying you. The art of war. So, in the context of the leak of Dallin H. Oaks in 2020, which was only leaked last November, we now can place this in the context of the latter days. I have a playlist, the 11 years of the latter days, starting with 2014 to 2025. And I only got to 2018. Did I get to 2019? Can't remember. It's been so long since I've done any videos for that. Because those are research videos. I have to compile all the documents for that year to discuss them for you for that year. And so now, knowing of the bigger picture, that I was right the whole time with my research, we now can see all of the quorum of the 12 apostles and how they tell us concerning what they secretly know from Oakes's leak for the bigger picture of the latter days. Has Oakes got leaks saying that 2020 is not going to be the end of the world, that the church is running a test in 2020 for the end of the world, which is going to be in 2025. That's now. Yeah. What do you think I've been doing all these videos? Why do you think they've attacked me recently? They're gonna murder Trump. In case you forgot the test run in 2020. they're going to assassinate him. And they're going to blame Jesus. Second coming. So, it is vital that we know our enemy, as our enemy has been leaked. Oh, I need to have that picture up. Microsoft doesn't want to cooperate anymore. Because it wasn't just a YouTube attack. Christofferson ordered also Microsoft to attack me, as I showed you with the picture. And I did it originally not knowing that it was connected to the YouTube's attacks that I was doing. And now I know exactly what happened. When you're doing an investigation, you need to gather all the evidence. See what happened prior to that led up to an event, and what happened afterward. And so this is Investigation 101. This is my field of specialty. I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew with it. And so, yes, I am the foremost expert in the ancient Middle East, as well as church history of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and apparently for Islamic history, Christian history, and Jewish history, because Christianity screwed everybody up. You know, at least the President of the United States isn't rewriting the Smithsonian. He's just getting rid of stuff. So, the Strengthening Church Members Committee had, back under Monson, David Todd Christofferson. And so he's the one that is the fixer, the Danite judge over the church. From the Deseret News, October 2nd, 1993, from the meme that was created by Exfo Nevermos. From a leaked church document on Mormon leaks, which used to exist until the church shut them down. He, Elder Oaks again, explained that local leaders are informed by church headquarters, Christofferson, about members who may be possibly violating church standards. The church is strengthening the members committee. Pores over newspapers and other publications and identifies members accused of crimes by the church, preaching false doctrine, criticizing leadership, or other problems. So yeah, it's not just newspapers and publications anymore. Internet. And so yes, Christofferson and his committee of at least 3 members of the 70 are in charge of going over YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, other online websites. I can now blame him, not just Nelson, for everything they've done to me these whole latter days. Not just Monson for what he did to me in 2008. I got all of it. I now know. I know names. Christofferson is my direct enemy. Indirect from Nelson and Oaks. That information is forwarded on to the person's bishop or stake president who is charged with helping them overcome problems and stay active in the church. So he's assigned, but he has to return and report in the Thursday meetings at 10 a.m. so that all the apostles know about me. I told you so. So, in the context of 2020 as a test run for the end of the world, you need to know what the end of the world is. Jesus Christ comes from outer space and burns everybody. Oak says that if you're righteous, you'll be resurrected from the dead ash. So pay your tithing. Promotion for tithing. Pay it now or die. No guarantee of a resurrection. Restrictions and applications apply. Order right now, and you can also get these Ginsu knives. Oh, Sister Jessica, if only you knew what you did. Okay. So, first we need to know his name. Baby name meanings. I've been doing the videos, I've been going over with you Russell Marion Nelson's baby name meaning and how he's the leader of the great and abominable church of Lucifer because his baby name meaning is Lucifer, as Mars, the red star of the sea, as Trump, Mercury, the trump of the gods. It's amazing how these Jews were so smart. And Constantine took it all away. You can't see prophecy in Revelation. No, no, no. It's all literal history now. And then there's a whole bunch of supernatural stuff going on. You know, like Samson taking the tail of the fox and burning the field of the Philistines. There are Danites involved too, as well as Judah. And the Samson stories, just like I did to my brother Todd in 2023. And so it's fascinating that his name is a version of the prophesied Christ. Sort of, but not really. He's the false Christ. The name of the full prophesied Christ is given to us by Isaiah, Emmanuel. But you got to include sign. Give unto you a sign. His name shall be called Emmanuel. The ancient Egyptian sun god at noonday, for he who is at the crossroads of the Wagoner sun god at noonday. That is the full name prophesied by Emmanuel, also giving us the date of the latter days of the first, second, and third total solar eclipses over the location on Earth where he would come to. Yeah, America. What do you know? But Todd, which, yes, is my brother's name too. But it's Fox. For sly, devious, wicked. So David, which comes from the 18th dynasty, David Moses's, from which they had the Amen priesthood, Emmanuel, from which Emmanuel is supposed to be a descendant of the 18th dynasty of Egypt. And David Moses III, I've been telling you all about him, and how he went to battle the Hittites in the valley of Armageddon 1, and then put his foot on the Mount of Salem, and they thereafter built the temple and the palace to the king of Salem, Solomon. That's a title, not a name. The King of Peace. So King Solomon is a redundancy. Paleo-Hebrew, the N is a suffix determinative. And so, yeah, you can see what they were thinking, as I showed you in the video before with the new picture that I've made and put the wrong verb tense. Nobody saw it, nobody bothers to read, so I don't need to worry about it. Is that Brigham Young knew Joseph Smith was Jewish. He knew the Book of Mormon is Jewish. He knew the church is Jewish. And with the Nauvoo temple symbolism, he demonstrated how he conquered it, turned it Lucifer, calling it Christian. The Illuminati struck again on Joseph Smith, not understanding the prophecy of the Jews. And so to have David as the first name is wrong. It's Emmanuel. The symbol of Emmanuel has the universal symbol of the sun with David in the middle, the double D's. The moon eclipsing the sun, solar eclipses. And so Todd, nope, the false Christ. That is not the name of his father. 2 Nephi chapter 3. It's not just for Joseph. And so therefore, the name of his father would have to be Wagoner, Wayne. And then Christofferson is the son of Christopher, and Christ, that should be an easy one for you to figure out, anointed one. And as a Christian, you only think of Jesus, the false Christ. But offer is to bear up, bearing. So the bearer of Christ. And so he's not going to actually physically bear Christ, spiritually. So he is the earthly personification of the Spirit of Christ within him, like Trump. Okay? The false Christ, by name. Get those home fires burning. See, with my brother, I have to check. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Am I fulfilling prophecy here? Hold on. Oh, no, wait. Yep, no, wait, no, wait, yep, maybe. Oh, okay, September 7th, 27th is the lunar eclipse in Aquarius, and 22nd, no, so close. However, the 6th for the bread. That deadly bread. Deadly bread will get you every time. Okay, so, no. See, my brother was with a solar eclipse. He was out in Australia, but tied with the foxes of Pisces at the tails. Solar eclipse at the tails of the Pisces fish rather than foxes. But, fascinating. Nonetheless, did that video in 2023 after my brother was ordered through Christofferson, through his boss at the church office building, to attack me or get fired and excommunicated. So yes, my enemy and my brothers as well. And so he's so close as the combination of both of our names, but is so far off. You know, Brian David Mitchell, he changed his name to claim to be the guy. Pfft, whatever. Get back into prison. Dumbass. Okay. He was born right in between my parents. Mom was 44, Dad was 46. He was January 24th, 1945. Almost a year before my dad. He was put in as an apostle in the April conference 2008. As both Faust and Hinckley had passed away, under the sun shall be darkened, moon turn to blood, stars fall from heaven, with their own unique pattern reversed. It's cool. And so he and Anderson step in to fill the void. Into the void for the final destination. If you are not following my channel, you are losing out. I've got 8.8K videos doing all this research and sharing it with you guys. And so ignore this at your own peril. They're going to murder you too, not just Trump. Because remember, everybody's going to die, only the righteous will be resurrected. And somehow the money will have value. I don't get it. What does Jesus need money for again? And so he was born in American Fork, so the wrong location. Wrong name, wrong location, wrong birth year. Already, he fails the Jewish test of prophecy, a checklist. The Christ of the Jews has to have every single prophecy checked, every single calendar date and clock time of Revelation checked. Not a single one can, oops, you know, like the Jews getting utterly destroyed in the Roman period time. Oops, Jesus ain't him. He didn't even have an Exodus. He failed to establish Zion. Oh, what? He gets a second coming after failing the first time? Whatever. Get him out of here. Imperfect, immortal being of non-substance, of reality. Dear God, how does anybody believe this crap? I mean, yeah, I know you're born into it and they indoctrinate you and you just are dumb. There are over 15 million Mormons who left because they're not dumb. And yet, there's still about 2 million left. So, raised in Pleasant Grove, Linden, and Somerset, New Jersey. As a young man, he served a 2-year mission in Argentina. His mission president was Richard G. Scott, and that was his entrance in. Yep, just like the whistleblower for Ensign Peak Advisors. He knew the guy in charge. But unlike the whistleblower, David Todd Christofferson has fully immersed in the evil of this criminal operation and is in charge of it for narking on Mormons and subjecting them to the yoke of Jesus. I got a bachelor's from BYU, which means it's worthless, in English and International Relations in '69, when my parents were in Berkeley with me, or in the belly of the womb. Doesn't say what month. Followed by a JD Juris Doctorate, isn't that? Yeah, School of Law, in '72 from Duke. Began a legal career as a law clerk. So he also could be involved with some of these legal faux pas that I've been going over with you lately. See how much fun it is to go over the living prophets of Jesus, boys and girls? Sirica, John J. Sirica of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia from '72 to '79. He began clerking afterward, so he got demoted. Sirica was assigned to preside over Watergate, where a Mormon was deep throat, took down a president. That is also very interesting. Pay attention to that. Ooh, bells should be ringing on Christmas Day. Yeah, because Trump, he's all besties with not just Putin, which they're having some difficulties right now. But also, he's a fan of Nixon, not just Hitler. Nixon was one of his bestest role models. And there you see Christofferson, associated indirectly to the Watergate proceedings that took down a president with a Mormon who was deep throat. Awesome. So yes, the church is involved, because Oak said so, in the taking down of presidents. Ever since Brigham Young taken down Joseph Smith as a candidate for the President of the United States of America, the Confederates who split off took out Lincoln. Who would have known what would have happened if Joseph Smith won the presidency? Oh, I do. I did the research. I already know what they were planning. I'll give you a hint. Council of 50. They were going to assassinate Joseph Smith, and then Sidney Rigdon would become the president, as Brigham Young would say, hey, let's get this Council of 50 to establish martial law in the United States of America. Civil war would ensue. Yep. General Young. So, nope, didn't happen that way. So the Civil War had to happen instead. Fascinating. Say that. Know your enemy. It's fun. Fundamental. Let's see. Worked in D.C., Nashville, Virginia, North Carolina. Associate General Counsel for Nations Bank. Volunteer Chairman of Affordable Housing, HUD, in Nashville, Tennessee. Really? Trump just did away with HUD for undocumented illegals. So yeah, he was the clerk during the Watergate trials. He helped take down Nixon. If we go back to those videos, we might see Christofferson in the courtroom. Ooh. Wouldn't that be fun? Not necessarily as a clerk, but maybe in the seating. Maybe. Because he's been poking his head in other presidential matters of affairs, both in 2017 and in 2022. Where are you? Okay. All right, here we go. Yeah, 2017, he prayed at the National Prayer Service after Trump was inaugurated. So right there, he's in the Book of Mormon. If you've not been following me, you're way behind. And then, yeah, the two apostles to attend 2017. Where's the 2022 one? Oh, yeah. There's a woman on LinkedIn who's wanting to pay me $300 as a consultant. I'm not going to take her up on it. It has nothing to do with anthropology of the ancient Middle East. Come on. Come on. And only $300? Come on. Lawyers get $2,000. Did I not get it? See, Mueller has Parkinson's disease, I understand, and Google's being extorted. Found some new fashion. There it is. Here it is. The National Prayer Breakfast was 2015. So it's not 2022. 2015. Okay. February 5th, 2015. He was there at the National Prayer Breakfast. It seems like he also spoke, because he has got a video that was a day of slowing down and pausing for fellowship and prayer. Seriously? Yeah, I guess well, who was, because I know at least Gong went to 2024. Did I seriously not get it? Utah is going to be taxing Social Security, for those of you who are on Social Security retirement, in 2020. 5. It'd be 2026, wouldn't it? Yeah, oops. Do I dare? It's been 33 minutes, although they got me yesterday at an hour and 6 minutes into the video. We gotta get this, we gotta know. Because I'm pretty sure it was him and Gong. Elder Christofferson presidential inauguration. 2017. Oh, there it is. Yeah, oh my God, how did I miss that? Yeah, for this one also. So both Trump, Stevenson and Gong. Okay, so not Christensen for this one. He skipped this one. Is he about to die? For those about to die, we will dig your grave. For those about to die. So he's 80 years and 8 months old. Oh, the number 8 symbolism. Bye-bye. 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 The curse of Travis Wayne Goodsell strikes again. Awesome. It's hilarious. Alrighty. So this is important to know because of the talks that he gives at conference, which we're going to cover in just a minute here, or maybe an hour. Okay, so you can see the bigger picture now. We are making connections. We know that the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints is going to overthrow the government. They're going to murder the President of the United States of America. We see connections with Christofferson, at Watergate with Deep Throat. Clerking with the judge. Was he in the audience? I don't know. Was he the clerk typing in stuff? I don't think so. But we don't know. We have to go back to the tapes. Let's dare to check. Since I didn't get attacked the first time around, but I'm going on to YouTube now, maybe, Watergate trials videos. From the archives, Nixon's Watergate smoking gun tape, Watergate hearings. The playlist aims to collect full videos and audios of Watergate hearings. Some of these will be in the form of videos, and some will be audio only. So Patrick O'Dare, or Dare, I don't think they do Dare, they mean Dare, don't they? Look at the Irish laddie. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, this guy is gold. 37 videos. Yeah, you thought my videos, well, yeah, oh my goodness. We got Robert Odell, full Watergate hearings testimony. I need to make sure that the video is still going. 4 hours long. Martin Kelly, full Watergate hearings testimony. An hour and a half. Robert Reisner, full Watergate hearings testimony, 2.5 hours. Bruce Curley, full testimony, an hour. Jeb Magruder, full Watergate hearings testimony of over 5 hours. That was just short of my 6-hour video series in 2023 when Nelson released the Ledger of Brigham Young. Donald Sergetti, 4 hours and 30 minutes. Vernon Walter, oh man. So yeah, we might be able to see if Christofferson is in any of these videos. Wouldn't that be fun, boys and girls? We need to do some business here. Hold on a minute. Maurice Stans was over 7 hours. Dear God. Looks like his was audio. I don't have an actual photo from the location. Let's do this file. Music and passion were always in fashion at the goodbye. Watergate trials. Okay. Wow. Yeah, YouTube would not be happy with me watching those. No, Travis, no! No video for you. Fascinating. So he married a usurper. Pure usurper. So cute. Salt Lake Temple. Ooh! Did he have his wedding supper feast at the Lion House next to the Beehive House? Was it room number 13 also? Wrong date, though. Samson? Hello, people. Keep up. Samson, Sun King. N, suffix determinative, remember? He was a bishop, a stake president, regional representative, so he moved up the ladder, paying his tithing for worthiness. I also got an extra porn thing from Hinckley on that video that I showed you the other day. We're waiting for the special time to put that one in. First quorum was 70. April 1993. And then August 1998, the presidency of the 70. That's back in the days when they were selecting the new apostles from the presidency of the 70 for the most part. Ooh, As a 70, he served as the executive director for church's family and church history department. lying and covering up, revising. While in this position, he was involved in negotiations with Jewish leaders on policies on temple work for Holocaust victims that old man kept redoing over and over again. Which concluded with the church stating that its members should only do such temple work for family members. Which should have been a no duh. But the church doesn't practice it, so why should members? He also was in charge of the department when the church completed the Freedmen's Savings Bank Records Project. April 5th, yeah, the solemn assembly he's put in with Anderson. Yep. And so works. That's all he's got. He got the World Peace Prize in 2017. Yep. Wait a minute, doesn't the Book of Mormon say that you're not supposed to receive honors? Alrighty. So yeah, he's one of the few remaining from Monson for the curse of Travis Wayne Goodsell. And so 6 are gone. And we know that Irene, Nelson, Oakes, and Holland are obviously on their deathbeds. We now have a potential prophetic confirmation that Christofferson also is on his deathbed. And there's Anderson, Cook, and Bednar with Uchtdorf also. And if you don't know, if there's enough deaths of apostles to only leave 6, the church is gone. It fell. It's over. They're going to take the money and run. Sucks to be a Mormon. Just so that you know. Just so that you know, unless you're thinking somehow the church will somehow be true. Nope. All right, so now talk time. 45 minutes in. So I went back to check 2016. It was taking too long to go back all the way to 2008. But 2016 is when the church is setting up for the latter days with the test run in 2020. Because Trump is running for president with Mitt Romney. And Trump wins over Mitt Romney. As Mitt Romney lost to Obama in 2012. So the church is going to the next plan because of the failure of the previous one. And so in October 2016, before the election, with the October surprise, Russia, if you're listening, I can grab them by the bleep. And he wins! What the hell? What are you doing, Hillary? Democrats have no spine. What the hell? And Comey comes out. Yeah, we're not going to investigate Trump. It's too close to the election. But we're investigating Hillary. That Hillary, something's up with that. And now Trump wants Comey locked up and already fired his daughter? Oh my hell. What the hell? Something ain't right. Okay, so he goes to the inauguration, gives the prayer, right? Was it the, or mine? I took it down. Come on. National Prayer Service in January 21st. So yeah, it is the inauguration. And then it was 2015 for the other one. Okay. The prayer breakfast for the other one. All right, so yeah, he's there at the inauguration of Trump. They are setting him up to have him murdered. And in case you don't know your Book of Mormon, which I'm sure only a handful of you that follow me regularly and believe, even if you don't believe, you still know. The church is going to murder the president. We already see from the video quote of the Book of Mormon that if you practice priestcraft, you're going to cause the destruction of the civilization. Utter destruction. And so, under this context, you have secret combinations in 3 Nephi chapter 7. Benson told you. The 3 decades before the coming of Jesus to the Americas are a parallel pattern for the 3 decades before the second coming of Jesus. Oh, Benson. 3 decades before 2016. What do you know? How did he know? Is there something going on with these prophets? Now behold, I show unto you that they did not establish a king over the land. Trump, king, calls himself king. But in this same year, yea, the 30th year, they did destroy upon the judgment seat, yea, did murder the chief judge, the commander-in-chief of the land, the president, during a presidential election. And from this is supposed to be the national divorce, which, after that failure with the test run, they're now doing it with gerrymandering to make sides of who's Dem and who's MAGA. And then civil war will ensue. But the church, with Utah, Zion, Deseret 2.0. Thank you. And while the rest of the nation fights in a civil war, the church remains out of it, expands to include Nevada and Idaho and Wyoming and Montana and Alberta and maybe Colorado, maybe New Mexico and Arizona. Maybe down to Mexico. Not likely California. Or Oregon, or at least half of Oregon by the coast. And Washington. No. So yeah, that's what they'll be working on after they get their kingdom, is expansion. To restore Brigham Young's kingdom again. But if Trump will finally listen to me, he's the only one who has the power to shut down this church, because nobody else is doing it. And that'll prevent the church from getting their kingdom back when all of this hits the fan. Trump is already involved in destroying the federal government, and the regulations of the federal government were destroyed because of the secret combinations of friends and kindreds of those who murdered Joseph Smith and Hiram. All right here in the Book of Mormon for you. It is not literal history. Joseph Smith tells you it's not literal history. The Book of Mormon tells you it's not literal history. And yet, because of Christianity changing translations, interpretations, and definitions of words, yielding themselves unto the power of Satan. And so that's what's got planned right now. This is why it's a pattern match for 2020 and 2021. A coup is in progress, and Trump is handing over the authority to the states. And as I called it vassal in the previous video, and then I went and checked vassal, and it showed how vassal states are associated with King David of the 18th dynasty, with Armageddon and Salem. Hilarious. Hilarious. All right. God, no, compared to the other file. So his talk before the election was "Abide in my love." So he has no clue yet as to whether Trump or Hillary is going to win. 2017, Trump had just got inaugurated. He was there. He was a part of the prayer. The warning voice, technically the voice of warning. Anybody remember Benson? Yeah, the Book of Mormon, the warning voice. So let's go over this talk in the context of the end of the world that the church, through the Council for National Policy, put in as President of the United States of America. The whole Russiagate. Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. And a major city, yet to be determined, in Russia. Same conference. No, next year. Sorry. But yes, the church is working with Russia. Working with Russia to murder Trump. All right. While the duty to warn is felt especially keenly by prophets, how does he know? It is a duty shared by others as well. So he talks about Ezekiel. You don't remember my 5th of Elu video, do you? Awesome. It's all about Ezekiel's prophecy of the destruction of the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And here, a living prophet of Jesus with the wrong name is, after Trump is elected president, giving the voice of warning about Ezekiel. Brilliant! Ooh. Ooh. In 597, he knows the actual date, that it's not 600 BCE. See, I knew these guys weren't stupid. They're just evil. Lying to Mormons. See, he even connects it with Lehi. The prophet Ezekiel was born about 2 decades before Lehi and his family left Jerusalem, in 597 BCE. He knows 4 CE, therefore is 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem. The solar eclipse. Hello? Hello? Been there, done that. And I did that back then. I knew it back then. I published that book before then. And so he knows, on the Strengthening Church Members Committee, he is required to stalk me and saw my video, knew of my publication on Amazon, and did this talk. Yes! Oh, no, the letter to the 70 was later that year, so he wouldn't have gotten that yet. Oh, that is hilarious. We got to take a station identification break. I got my thumbnail picture now. March 13th, 2017, I published it. And then, boom, 2017, he gives a talk giving the date I gave. And he's the president, as the presiding apostle, over the Strengthening Church Members Committee, which Elder Oaks explains that local leaders are informed by church headquarters about members who may possibly be violating church standards. The church is strengthening the members committee, pores over newspapers and other publications. Ta-da! And then, in July 2017, the video that got out of hand and he didn't stop it quick enough. 40,000, 40,000, 40,000 views. This is awesome. And in case I didn't tell you in the beginning, like I should have, I've only been focusing on Nelson primarily this whole latter days. Rarely, except for maybe conferences in the beginning, which got overwhelming and I just said, screw it. Conferences wear me out. I focus only on Nelson. And occasionally, if somebody else says something just completely outrageous and applicable, I'll cover it. You know, like Holland for his porn as COVID, or God's sperm. But otherwise, only Oaks, and especially more lately, because Oaks is next in line, assuming he can outlive Nelson, who both are on their deathbed. We could have a hunter in the running here. We may have a record breaker. So yes, take things in their context. Put events in chronological order. See what came before, see what happened during, and then follow it afterward to get the bigger picture of what's going on. What is leading to the cause and effect that's going on. They're plotting to overthrow the government. They're going to murder the president. And I've had a big part in it. And so they know I know. They know I'm figuring out the prophecies and the dates that they are using to overthrow the government and murder the president. Okay? That's why they're paying very close attention to me in my videos. That's why, lately, the attack. I had just gotten just a bombshell of a dream over bread. And then flood. Christofferson assuming he's still in charge of it, knows this. And if it's not him, somebody else who is in charge knows this. He has to hand over all the notes. They were in the meetings to learn of it, and so they would know too to continue on. Okay? But we're assuming, until we find out otherwise, Christofferson is still the apostle in charge of all of this. And then the 70s, obviously, they've changed, because I recognize several of them, if not all of them, are gone. They're not rich enough like Huntsman Sr. Keep going. It had nothing to do with his wealth. It was his worthiness, which has to do with wealth. Do they not have an editor? Are Mormons not catching this? Dear God. Okay? And so, yes, he screws up Ezekiel. He's treating him as if he's literal history. My video on Ezekiel, far better. Far better. I am the expert in the field. Just awesome. And then he's getting into Samaritans, and then Sadducees and Sadducees and scribes, and then Matthew 23 calling them hypocrites. He doesn't even, you have to click on the 23 link to see that it's Matthew 23. Whew, just awesome. Okay, so voice of warning. I'm not really before you. I'm not. He's not talking about. He's talking about moral warning. Repent. You know, the Pharisees are like you, Christofferson. Jesus is condemning you, sort of like what I'm doing to you right now. That's the more accurate comparison. The idea of marriage is still a matter of intellectual debate. Yeah, this is moral warning. He is not talking about anything physical in a warning. Lord's supremacy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Brothers and sisters, which he had to put in brackets after the fact. Oops. But wasn't this... It doesn't have it labeled. April... Okay, so he gives a second one in 2000, or that's October, okay. So it's 5010, so that would have been Sunday, the Sunday afternoon session. So no, it wasn't the priesthood session. So he made a faux pas by just saying brethren and not sistren. May we each be able to say to the Lord with David, I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart. I have declared thy faithfulness as thy salvation. I have not concealed the loving kindness and thy truth from the great congregation. Withhold not thou thy tender mercies from me, O Lord. And then in the name of the wrong God. Amen. Joseph Smith never said that. He just said amen. Interesting. So he's using David to finish. Interesting. Okay. Next. October the living bread which came down from heaven. Yeah. Okay. And then April 2018, he's in the priesthood meeting talking about the new elders quorum changes with the solemn assembly. No more high priest group, gone. Everybody's now an elder. Only an elder. Only an elder. Bruce R. McConkie. And so he's now talking about that in the context of the solemn assembly of doing away with high priest. So 2018, October, the firm and steadfast in the faith of Christ. Firm and steadfast in the faith of Christ. Okay, and so we'd have to go into more reading over it, because in 2019, what happened, everybody? Nelson touched the Ark of the Covenant, changed the temple endowment. And the big major change was women feeling, why are women in the church? I don't get it. I don't get it. They love being abused. So sad. Yeah, he took away the veil. He took away the text that says that they obey their husband, and now it's obey Jesus, but obviously Jesus isn't around, so the living prophet speaks for Jesus, and the living prophet tells women to follow the family proclamation, and the family proclamation says obey your husband. It was a trap. But nonetheless, women go and feel what they want to feel, and the husbands are the ones who suffer for it. And polygamy was changed. It's added. They put back polygamy in. They snuck it in. Okay? And so we want to check 2018, because he would know about the changes that are coming for the new year. So that's what you'd want to check in. Firm and steadfast in the faith of Christ. Temple covenants. Okay? So 2019, April. Preparing for the Lord's return. He knows. Oaks Confess got leaked. And so, yes, 2019, they are now preparing for the coming of the assassination of Trump, the Civil War, the utter destruction of the people, the fall of the United States of America, and the return, restoration of the kingdom of Deseret 2.0. And here he is in April with a new temple text, preparing for polygamy for the millennium. Right before Gaddy versus COP, right before me and COP, right before the whistleblower at the end of the year. We're all stepping up. No, the church is evil. And they're saying we're about to coup the government. And so here he goes. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is uniquely empowered and commissioned to accomplish the necessary preparations for the Lord's second coming. He confessed. They got themselves into a position to be uniquely empowered and commissioned to accomplish the overthrow of the United States of America, the mass murder of humans, and the theft of money. assassination of Trump, the necessary preparations for next year. Awesome. Awesome. In 2 weeks, we will celebrate Easter. Screw the Jews and Passover. Resurrection confirms the divinity of Jesus. No, that's a circular reasoning fallacy. To quote Gray. And the reality of not real God the Father. You can't impose something supernatural onto natural. And that's what Brigham Young did by turning Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon into literal history, as Constantine did to the Jews. What Constantine did was make it all supernatural. And thus Joseph Smith says, all wrong, abominable, and corrupt. Brigham Young worsified it because he's imposing reality with the not real. It's like introducing a negative with a positive. It always comes out negative. You can never produce a positive from negative. Once a negative is introduced, boom, nope. And so, yeah, it won't happen. You can't do it. And yet, church does it. The Mormons fall for it. At least the 2 million that are left. The rest of the 15 million caught on and left. And so, our thoughts turn to the Savior. You don't think about the Savior all year long? And we ponder his matchless life and his infinite virtue of his great atoning sacrifice. Yeah, the Jews have a different understanding of atonement. Right, Richard G. Scott? I hope we also think about his pending return, when he will rule as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So obviously this is not Trump. They're going to assassinate him. It's going to be Nelson or Oakes or whoever's alive when all of this is said and done. I've done the videos for you. We know the whole plot, for those of us who've been following my videos. So then he talks about Buenos Aires, Argentina, that we went over in his bio. In that moment, Holy Spirit affirmed to me the first, the work of the ministry, temporal needs. Ministering to the temporal needs, and yet the church doesn't do this. What is he talking about temporal needs for? The church in 2020 did not tend to the ministry of temporal needs of Mormons, let alone others in 2020. They made a lot of money on the stock market, plus others that we don't know about. Their temporal needs, which are not needs, they're greed. Which, yes, Hinckley. I didn't get that part in the video clip, but yeah, I heard it. All the priesthood laughed. And so when you hear at the beginning when he talks about if you're paying your tithing to get rich, you're doing it wrong. It was right after that. Pursuing tithing for greed. What the bleeping hell? Yes, I pay my tithing so I can be a millionaire. I wish I could give more than 10%. I want to become a millionaire now. If you just study the words of the living prophets, it's hilarious. The second was unexpected, yet powerful and clear. It was this: beyond selfless service, it is supremely important to prepare the world for the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. You're gonna die. Pay your tithing, and there's no guarantee of a return on your investment on your fire insurance. Sign right here. When he comes, oppression and injustice will not only diminish, they will cease. Question. Section 119 for Zion. No oppression, huh? No injustice? Because we're in bondage, yoked to Jesus. The wolf also dwell with the lamb, wearing sheep's clothing. And the leopard will lie down with the kid. Yeah, quoting from Isaiah. Poverty and suffering will not only decline, they will vanish. Because they're dead, you didn't help them. They shall hunger no more as dead bodies. You don't need food when you're dead. Neither will you thirst. Oh my hell. It's just awful if you remember 2020. Oh my hell. They've hoarded all this money, and still to this day, when this is not a test run, the church still refuses to help Mormons temporally. This is a blatant sabotage of Mormons. If they'd only not go on vacation that weekend and actually read and listen to the talks. Oh my hell. So yes, let's do all we can to relieve suffering and sorrow now. Pay tithing and that will be your best help. Check your money order. Or through the church's website for a digital transfer. Oh my hell. God has fixed a day on which he will have the world judged rightly. Oh, not just a year, a day. Yep, I told you, you didn't believe me. Oh, this is gold. Remember, he said at the beginning. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is uniquely empowered and commissioned to accomplish the necessary preparations for the second coming of the Lord. Oaks got leaked. 2020 is a test run for the second coming of Jesus. We're running a test. And God has fixed a day on which he will have the world judged, destroyed. The end of the world. Oh my God, this is intense. This is awesome. I'm studying the living prophets of Jesus from now on. Church is so false. It's awesome. And so, yes, in the context of Nelson, during all this time, in the coming days, in the coming days, in the coming days, in the coming days. I don't know the day or the hour anymore. Trump's not doing it. He's delaying his coming. Oh my God. That is awesome. Awesome. The keys of the kingdom. And he's referring to the Peter, James, and John keys, by the way, and not Moses. Okay, you know, he's talking about the city of Enoch. We'll build Zion in our homes, wards, branches, stakes, through unity. So yeah, stay where you are, don't gather. Gathering is to the church, pay and tithing. The building of Zion occurs in tumultuous times, a day of wrath, a day of burning, a day of desolation, weeping, mourning, lamentation, whirlwind, face of the earth. Thus the gathering into stakes becomes for a defense. You know, how did I know? In remembrance of the Lord, Nelson explained in General Conference last October, the long-standing objective of the church is to assist all members to increase their faith. Okay. Yeah. I have studied the gathering. I know all about it. I'm the expert. I consulted 2 Hebrew scholars who told me the wrong translation of Israel. The white supremacist version of all versions. Yeah, gathered in Israel. Yep. Also vital to the preparation for the second coming is the great redemptive effort on behalf of our ancestors. Pay your tithing or they burn in hell. And brings up Elijah before the second coming. And he's not going to mention, oh, no, he did. Kirtland Temple, 3rd day of Passover. But he doesn't mention 3rd day of Passover in that place. And in that moment, he did indeed confer the promised priesthood, the keys for the redemption of the dead. Not the exodus from the gathering to Zion as the head of the church. Husbands and wives and families across generations. Oh my God, that's the extortion threat of the church. And the resurrection from the dead for baptisms for the dead. Youth devotional, Rome, Italy. Oh my God. You know, where the Pope bowed the knee and confessed that Nelson is the Christ. And then he died. And then the new pope forgot all about the 1700-year anniversary of the first creed of Christianity that created Jesus and turned everything into literal history. Sent the world into dark ages. Oh, God. This is just awesome. Okay. 2019, October. The joy of the saints. Yep. 2020, April. It has begun. Sharing the message of the restoration of the resurrection. Yep, you're all going to die, but you're going to be resurrected. (2020) Sustainable societies. Oh, this is just awful. 2021. After January 6th. And the test run is now pretty much over with. They're about to get into hearings, and he's not the clerk this time. Why the covenant path of the 5 temple laws for mass murder, theft, and coup government with polygamy? And so, now that failed, I had just found the Council for National Policy and the Church's connection to it, as he already confessed, I see. We are uniquely positioned. That's what he was talking about. The Council for National Policy. The Church are the puppet masters, getting other people to do the work for them. Christofferson didn't cyber-terrorize me. He ordered the YouTube Mormon employee to cyber-terrorize me, and then ordered Microsoft. Get 'em! Now there's nothing to get me on. Bleep you! And so, inspired as I am, I posted it before I knew that was the connection. Way ahead of these guys. Dear God. And so, yeah. And then I would find the way to perfection after this conference. And then the church would send me the death threat. We've had it. We've had it. Enough of you, Travis. Enough of you. Because I sued in 2020. They let me go. Even though she said she was going to get me the next year. But that triggered it. The way to perfection. And so, yes, if you've seen the picture, which I used repeatedly, with the forged document of Section 116, the blue mission card, my finger is there. That's my finger showing you the death threat on the day that I got the death threat. Doing that video, which he would have seen. Oh my God, this is just intense. And so April 2022, our relationship with God. And then he did an inaugural thing for the perpetual education program of slave trafficking online. And then perpetual immigration, slave trafficking, Hinckley. For October 2022, the church would then get Republicans to sign the Disrespect for Marriage Act before the midterms. Wasn't it then, or was it last year? I don't think it was last year. I think it was in 2022. Right before the midterms, when the squad took over Congress in preparation for the assault on Israel in 2023 by Islam. Putin also was already going on with his April 2022 conference talk. Remind me about that. Respect for Marriage Act. Yep, 2022. Yep. Mitt Romney, in order to get it passed, used the church's exemption clause to do away with it. And so he talks about the doctrine of belonging. So again, after Putin attacked on my daughter's birthday and the date when I served the church in 2020, our relationship with God, okay? Those need to be taken into context of what's going on in the world and then with the church's plot to overthrow the government and murder Trump. And so then I break free of this place. My dream that I had back in 2014 in December was fulfilled the second time with my move here. And they had failed with my brother the month before, or just a few weeks before, 2 weeks before. He attacked me on my birthday with a lawyer. A solar eclipse over Australia. Fox's tails. Right back at you, church. And the lawyer didn't do anything about it. So one in Christ. Okay? 2023 October, the sealing power. 2024 in April. That was supposed to be the conference weekend when they get their kingdom established. The temple is done. Lord suddenly comes to his temple. They have the big dedication on Saturday for conference. Oops. The construction workers pulled a fast one on the church and says, oh no, we underestimated how much money it's going to cost us to finish this. We are going to need some more money in order to finish this, otherwise we're going to have to quit. Which is a common thing by contractors here in Utah. They all underbid if they're not a family member to make sure they get the contract. And then without fail, they say, oh, well, we underbid, and so we need more money in order to finish the project. Otherwise, we can't do it. It's just wrong. Needs to change. But nonetheless, that's what happened to the church. And so, yeah, 2027. So, yes, I mocked Nelson profusely over his failure. I still didn't know why we're not in Zion yet. I didn't understand. Because the Book of Mormon says we're in Zion then. Didn't happen. What happened? Oh, test run for after the October conference. And so the testimony of Jesus with the sign of the Jewish Christ that Monday. So October, burying our weapons of rebellion. Huh? Not war. Rebellion. And so then Sister Jessica got leaked. Nelson would come out in 2024's of October conference and say, in the coming day, Mormons would get back from vacation. A month later, they're just happening to come across Nelson's video from conference. Oh, in the coming day. And so they're searching the internet in the coming day. Oh, Oaks, Sister Jessica. There's a connection. And the link led back to me as a recommended video, and I went, oh, finally I know. Oh my hell. A test run? I parted the waters, and you're saying it was a test run? And so, having failed to get Trump to destroy the federal government, hand over all authority to the states, so that the church can get their kingdom back and assassinate Trump because everybody hates him. It's dragging out. In April conference, Nelson says, I don't know the day and the hour anymore. The appointed day ruined. And he goes back to general worship. Worship. Your worshipfulness. So let's finish off by going over some of this that he said. So I want to get to the thumbnail picture. Just hilarious. What does worshiping God mean for you and me? Get on your knees. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem, 8 April 4 CE, of Judea in the days of Herod the king, he's still going back to that. Interesting. He's still referring to my book, going over Matthew though, but that's what I put in my book. Behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Yep. Saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? Oh boy. No, you're merging. No, you're not. Nope. That's an exclusive Matthew giving you the actual date of my birth with the sign of my coming in the east of the United States of America. The whole East Coast. And guess who died that year? The new king of the church was in power. You just can't make this stuff up. Dear God. So we find the curse. Where's the curse? It's in another file. Oh my hell. So yeah, the curse of Joseph Smith for leaders of the church, heads of the church, who are all false because none of them claim the powers and gifts. They just claim titles. And they don't even claim translator. They turned it into revelator, and revelator was incorrectly interpreted as inspiration when it's signs in the heavens, calendar dates, clock times. And so because Joseph Smith was murdered under a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse in proximity, that is the test that I ran for Brigham all the way to Monson. After I found out Monson died under, oh my God. So yeah, confirmed. Yeah, the Supreme Being hates this church and made it very clear to Mormons that it ain't true. And yet, 2 million still remain. Nonetheless, on the 18th of January, 1970, David O. McKay, dead. And so who takes over? the grandson of Hiram Smith. Wrong lineage. He had been fully indoctrinated into the Great and Abominable Church. He is not supposed to take over the head of the church. He has no authority, even though he's from Hiram. And so he takes over on the 23rd of January, 1970. And so the sign in the east, March 7th, 1970. 10 days before the big day. We have seen his sign in the east of the United States. And it went right straight up the coast. And then at 5:23 in the twilight morning, my mother being up all night in labor pains. It was, I think it was, I can't remember, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So 9 months, but because the conception would have been, I'm pretty sure, I have to check the obituaries. So I hope I don't get shut down while I'm doing this. Pressing my luck here. Obituaries. Judy K. Broomhead. Okay. 12/21/21. April 28, 1944. Logan, Utah. June 10th. Okay. And so 17th. Wow. Yeah, 7 days late. 7 days late. Interesting. Interesting. Summer of '69. Whoa. And so, yeah, the lunar eclipse for David O. McKay was the 21st of February, 1970. Bye-bye. 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 77, 88. So, there you have it. We be done. So, attitudes and feelings inherited in worship. The actions that constitute our worship. No, guys. Get inspiration. Turn it into the flesh. You don't know it's real until you make it real. Real simple. The need to emulate the Father and the Son. Are you sure you want to emulate me? Are you sure? Because I seem to be pissing you off. Are you sure? Let's ponder over that. See, now I can talk to him. I know who I'm talking to now. I know who's listening.